Tonight on Missing Persons Unit, in Sydney, gymnast Mitchell McClean vanishes off the face of the earth.
It's hurting me. And it hurts the family, which then hurts me even more.
He's only 14. His mum is desperate.
If anyone else sees him, could they please ring the police so that we can just know that he's okay?
In Brisbane, police use computers to help solve a 13-year mystery.
In order to make this look like he's 39, I need to know what that family will do at 39.
This is what Bill Roach should look like today.
I think that'll do the job.
And finally, forensics bring closure to this baffling case.
We do have both mum's and dad's DNA samples on file, so we will be able to get a nuclear DNA sample if it's required. 5
years of torture is about to end.
We've got a digital sensor which will actually spit the image straight onto the computer.
And here in South Australia, a mum still waits in this empty house she built for her missing son.
So everything in here is his, but he's never seen it. He's just waiting for him to come home to. If he'd only come home.
Good morning all, another busy day on today.
At the Sydney Missing Persons Unit, it's another full load of new and old cases.
Andy, we've got a 14-year-old boy missing from Alexandria. That's been reported to Leichhardt LAC Glebe.
Senior Constable Andy Drummond is assigned the worrying case of missing schoolboy Mitchell McClean. The champion gymnast took off 14 days ago, and his mum hasn't heard from him since.
Yeah, this 14-year-old suffers from ADHD and he's off his meds at the moment. Her mum's fairly concerned about him. The detectives have been down from Dubbo about the Stuart town remains, and Graham's at the morgue at the moment.
Police believe the unidentified remains found on a New South Wales farm belong to a Victorian man called Stuart, who disappeared back in 2002.
Rather hoping they'll get a result because this has been 5 years with the family. Mark's called, been some good news. Crime Stoppers reports of Bill Roach sightings are firming up.
Bill Roach went missing 13 years ago and police thought he'd been murdered. But a recent sighting by a friend and multiple calls to Crime Stoppers suggest he's alive and well in Brisbane.
So let's get to it. Have a good day. We've got lots of work to do.
Thanks, Bob.
At South Australia's Missing Persons headquarters,
we've taken over the David FLETCHER disappearance.
Senior Constable Rowan Crawford joins the Adelaide CIB in their search for missing 39-year-old David FLETCHER. David rode off on his motorbike almost 3 years ago and disappeared.
We had someone in Tasmania who thought they'd seen him driving trucks. Also had reports that he was hiding out on fishing trawlers around the Port Lincoln area.
So while the Adelaide team sifts through the FLETCHER file, back in Sydney...
Yeah, g'day, Anita, it's Senior Constable Andrew Drummond, Missing Persons at Parramatta. How you going?
Oh, good, thanks. How are you?
Andy's calling Glebe Police, chasing an update on the case of missing 14-year-old gymnast Mitchell McClean.
Just a little bit concerned about him. I've just noticed he's got ADHD. He's also on medication and hasn't taken it for a while, so I know that when he doesn't take it, he gets a bit violent.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
After 14 days without medicine and no family contact, police fear the worst.
I think there's some intel on our system for some places in Leichhardt, so we might start checking those out today and see how we go.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
There's two concerns, really. Young age, he's only 14 years old, and also he's ADHD sufferer, so we don't want to see him get in any type of trouble at a young age, so yeah.
Back in Queensland, the long-term case of missing Armidale man Bill Roach is hotting up.
That Brian could well be the subject of that Crime Stoppers, so someone's rung up genuinely believing that this fella's our fella.
In our last program, Sergeant Mark Samways arrived in Brisbane to follow up on sightings of Bill Roach.
This guy knew him intimately.
An old university mate, Bly Grant, says he saw Bill only days before.
He might have even got to the corner, but that's when I decided to follow him.
Multiple Crime Stoppers reports also place Bill in the same area.
Might have been this intersection or the next one.
And there's a good chance he's been caught on surveillance cameras.
It's definitely the one he thinks is Bill.
Then, after a day of searching the local bars...
He rides around on a motorcycle, on a motorised bike. I've seen him in Wynnum because I live in Wynnum myself.
The bloke on the bike, who's supposed to be Bill Roach, shows up.
You Brian? Brian? Yeah. Yeah, g'day. Mark, Liz, how are you? We're from Sydney, and we're looking for a missing person who went missing 13 years ago. It's not you? No. Someone telephoned us and said that this man rides a bike like you.
That's not me.
No, but can you see?
But there's no mistaking the similarity. And this explains the high number of calls to Crime Stoppers.
Okay. All right, no worries.
All right, good
Thank
on
you.
you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, mate.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brian.
If you didn't know better, you would say
Yeah,
that is
like
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, as you say, 12, 13 years ago.
And that's the problem. The calls were based on 13-year-old photographs of Bill Roach. Back in Sydney, in the case of 14-year-old runaway Mitchell McClean...
It's been around 11:30 since last Thursday.
After being briefed by Andy at the Missing Persons Unit, his mum, Anne, hits the phones.
And get as much information off them as possible and then probably go looking for him.
But with no news, it's all too much for Anne, and she takes to the streets herself.
Well, I've put up the flyers. I've contacted nearly everybody I know and got them and their friends out, like just keeping an eye out for him. I've been into shopping centres to the security section and given them the photo and asked them, like, if they see him to ring the police.
Mitchell McClean is a champion athlete, but without medication for his hyperactivity, he gets carried away and often gets into trouble.
We go for a drive around the streets looking for him, and we've been putting up posters to see if anyone sees him, and we've written on the posters, like, if he sees the picture, can he please ring home? I don't care if he doesn't come home straight away, but as long as he rings home, I know he's all right. It'll make me a lot easier for me, but not hearing anything at all, it's tearing me apart.
After 14 days of silence, the stress is taking its toll on Anne and her family.
Before is nothing compared to now. To start off with, it's anger, heaps of anger, like, why is he doing this and that? And then as the days go on, it's more worried and upsetting. And wondering what he's getting up to, whether he's getting into drugs or crime and that sort of thing. It's really hard. I try to hide it from my kids, but to try not to upset them, but it's hard.
In Sydney, Anne McClean's missing poster drop is working.
So they're fairly reliable sightings, are they?
After 2 long weeks, Mitchell's been spotted. Andy's asked local police to urgently follow up on the reports. So Constable Scott Curtin and Senior Constable Anita Masilo waste no time.
We're on our way to an address in White Street, Lilyfield. We've received information that he may be there, so we're just going to go around and check it out. Sydney, so...
There's also been a second sighting by a shopkeeper in the same area.
He's been sighted wearing a red jumper, beige shorts, and he's in the company with an Indigenous boy of the same age and build.
Anita knows time is critical. She needs to investigate the leads before Mitchell leaves the area.
He's 14 years of age. He's too young to be roaming around, but from our records, he's been moving about in the last few days, out in the street, but obviously his welfare is a high risk.
Back at the Brisbane Missing Persons Unit, The long search for Bill Roach is moving to its next phase.
The whole purpose of our trip up here was to capture this fellow on footage so that we could put it in the media and try and identify him.
But unfortunately, it's not frontal vision, so we still don't have a good capture of this fellow's face.
But we do have some photos which the media may or may not be able to publish.
If we could get a scanned image of Bill and we could put that on a presentation to show at Suncorp Stadium at the Brisbane Roar next home game.
Great idea, but the problem is their most recent photo of Bill is from 1993. And all Crime Stopper calls since have been based on this old picture.
Okay.
To find Bill, police will need a photo of what he should look like today at age 39. Meanwhile, on the hunt for 14-year-old runaway Mitchell McClean,
I'm pretty sure it's actually inside. So
Anita's been told he might be hiding out at a Housing Commission unit here in the inner city.
Yeah, radio, just for your information, we're going off at White Street, Lilyfield.
An anonymous informant has revealed Mitchell has been hiding here with his best mate. So Anita has asked for assistance from local police.
He's 14, wearing a beige shorts. He hasn't got a cap on and a red jumper, but can we get you to just go around and just stand at the back just to make sure? It's not likely that he's going to just go in and knock on the front, and hopefully he's here.
If Anita's information is right, she'll find Mitchell McClean behind this closed door. Back at Brisbane's Missing Persons Unit, Jim Ryan is talking with a photo ageing specialist.
All right, and you need the parent photos, if we can, round about the same age, siblings, those sorts of things.
It's a real roller coaster ride. Tough on Bill's family, who were originally told he was dead. Now they're being told he may be alive and are being asked for photos.
They would like photos of any siblings like in their mid-30s and also photos of Bill's parents at approximately 37 years of age.
As you know, Bill was adopted out at six weeks of age, but I know where his biological mum and dad are. I've never spoken to Dad, but I know where he is. And Bill's also got 3 or 4 male siblings. So we should be able to get all those photos that your fellow requires.
As Mark Samways heads back to Sydney, he knows the aged photo is the last throw of the dice in this 13-year-old case. Meanwhile, Anita's acting on a tip-off that 14-year-old Mitchell McClean's been staying here with his mate.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Good.
My name's Senior Constable Mazzillo. I'm from Leichhardt Police. We've come here to inquire about a young boy that may be staying here at this location. Mitchell?
No, see. Me not understand.
You don't understand?
No.
What? You don't?
This boy don't understand.
Who doesn't understand? Yourself? Do you know Mitchell? A young boy, 14. Mitchell McClean?
No.
What about Peter?
Peter's school today.
Okay.
My grandson.
Oh, Peter's your grandson?
Yeah.
Mrs. Clapper's grandson, Peter, is one of Mitchell's best mates.
Okay. Did Peter have a friend staying here?
No. No friend in my flat.
No friend in your flat?
No.
Okay.
You go school.
Okay, well...
Peter's explain.
All right. No problem.
If she does know anything, Mrs. Clappers isn't saying much, but the anonymous caller was positive Mitchell's living here.
We may have to speak to her grandson and see if he can provide us with any information.
But then, on the way out, Anita spots a boy with a red jumper, just like the one Mitchell was last seen wearing.
How come you're not at school today?
I'm expelled.
Do you know Mitchell McClean at all? Are you sure about that? Because he was wearing a red jumper. It's a bit of a coincidence. He's been sighted around this area. Do you know anywhere that he hangs? Do you know who his mates are? Can you give me anything?
nothing.
Honestly, he's not in any trouble.
no.
His mum just wants to know that he's
Yeah,
okay.
she's always spoken to me.
Oh, you've spoken to his mum? So if you see him, can you get him to call his mum?
Although he's spoken to
So get him to
Mitchell's
call his
mum, he reckons he doesn't even know Mitchell. And it's this teenage code of silence that makes finding these kids such a nightmare.
Mitchell, if you see this, could you please ring home? Because we love you and we're really worried about you. And if anyone else sees him, could they please ring the police so that we can just know that he's okay?
Back at the McClean household,
Hi, it's Anne McClean, Mitchell's mum. Someone just tried to ring me. Yep, thank you.
Anne's still making calls, this time to Mitchell's school, praying someone has seen him.
Yeah, I've got a poster up at the bus depot, and so all the drivers should know today that if they see him, to ring the police.
And the call does bring encouraging news.
Bye. That was just Mitchell's principal at Green Square. One of the boys that goes to school with him apparently can get in contact with someone who knows where Mitchell is this afternoon, but he said he's not meeting him till after school.
Anne's frantic attempts to find her son are finally paying off.
See if we can find anyone who knows him.
So, as school finishes, Anita and Scott head to the local park, where Mitchell's supposed to be meeting his friends.
How old do you reckon that guy is on the bench?
Too tall.
He's definitely too old, I would say.
Red shirt or blue shirt?
Red.
There's a whole handful before.
But once again, Mitchell has slipped away.
Tiny little bit too late.
So, police immediately head to the nearby supermarket, where Mitchell was also spotted earlier.
Hi, how are you? So he's obviously hangs around this area a fair bit?
Yes, he does.
Do you know any of his mates?
I asked a couple of kids around, I don't know where they live and that, but I have asked them.
Okay.
They haven't seen him.
Obviously, he's only 14 and there's some concerns for his safety. I mean, you've seen him well this morning, so that's a positive thing. But wandering around at 5:30 in the morning is a bit of a concern at his age. So if you can provide us with any information, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to do that because, I mean, if he hangs down White Street around where I am, he'll probably go back there again.
Thanks very much for your time. If you see anything, just give us a call.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
He's a regular at the shop, so the shopkeeper is going to keep an eye out for us and hopefully she'll get in contact if she sees him again.
The police net might be tightening, but it looks like another dangerous night on the streets for the young schoolboy, and another sleepless night for his mum, Anne. At South Australia's Missing Persons Unit, an old case gets a new beginning.
David went missing just over 2 years ago now, in October of 2004.
Senior Constable Rowan Crawford is being briefed on the 3-year search for missing father, David Fletcher.
So I just wanted to revisit the investigation with you and just go over some of the key points. And
Senior Constable Kim Pascoe from the Criminal Investigations Branch has been searching for David since 2004.
That's right. We've had a number of possible sightings as a result of both missing persons posters and some of the media releases that we've done.
Okay. I see from a number of sources indicates he had a drug problem.
Yeah, we believe he had a fairly substantial drug habit that he had been using for some time. And a lot of the people that he was associating with were involved in the drug industry here in Adelaide and relatively reluctant to speak to us.
His mother, Jean Fletcher, mentioned that he was making attempts to get off of drugs.
We actually followed up with a recent doctor's appointment that he'd had not long before he disappeared, and from there he was referred to a rehabilitation clinic where he did actually attend and was ready to get going on a trial to get off the amphetamines. But the day that he was due to arrive to start the trial was actually when he's gone missing.
Back in Sydney, after 15 long days of searching, there is still no news for Mitchell's mum, Anne.
We've spoken to a few people today on the information that we had. The place down in White Street, Lilyfield, I don't think he's residing there, the grandmother.
Apparently he was down there yelling out to someone, so he's trying to get someone's attention, some other kid. But he's definitely with kids from Leichhardt High.
Oh, yeah, well, we've just come from Pioneer Park. Unfortunately, I think we were a touch too late, but we might get a car to go
Mitchell
up there
has run away once before, but he's never been away this long.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate the help.
No problems. Thanks for that.
It's hurting me. And it hurts the family, which then hurts me even more. He just doesn't understand, or he doesn't want to understand how he's hurting everybody else.
In South Australia, Senior Constable Rowan Crawford is travelling to the tiny village of Wallaroo to meet the parents of missing man David Fletcher. Police believe David was hiding here because he owed money to Adelaide drug lords.
Amphetamines, yeah. He was injecting them, so he was in a pretty bad way. He said to me when we were coming back from the rehabilitation centre, I hate myself for buying them, and he says, I hate the people that sold them. But I wasn't giving him any money. I wouldn't give him any money because I knew that he'd just spend it on drugs. And eventually he said to me one day, he said, Mum, can I have a motorbike? Would you buy me a motorbike? And we said, oh, yeah, sure, as long as you go and get a job.
So his parents bought him a second-hand motorbike. A week later, he was gone.
I came out into the garage and he just looked up at me as he was putting some stuff on his bike, and he looked at me for a second, and I thought he was going to say something, and he never said anything. So I just went on about my business, never thought anything about it.
And that night, David rode off, but didn't tell anyone where he was going.
It was Saturday the 6th of November 2004. We've never seen him again.
Back at Sydney's Missing Persons Unit, Mark Samways is calling Bill Roach's biological mum.
Margaret, Mark Samways from the Missing Persons Unit. How are you?
Hello, Mark. How are you? Sorry, I just got home this
After
morning.
all these years, it's like ringing an old friend. But there's still no good news.
But I'm pretty strong, Mark. I can handle things pretty well.
Yeah. What I need from you, if possible, is a photo of you when you were 37. What I also need is your other sons, so Bill's brothers.
Yeah.
So when they were aging the photo of Bill, they've got some idea of what he'd look like now, and the only way they can do that is look at photos of his siblings and photos of you.
All right, well, okay then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya. It appears we'll have access to photos that fit the criteria. It's good that Bill's natural siblings are around the same age he was, so that'll be good for the facial age progression stuff. And Margaret's tracking down a photo of herself at approximately the same age. Hopefully, from that, we'll get a good likeness of what Bill looks like today.
Meanwhile, in South Australia, in Wallaroo,
This is a really nice, spacious room. It's
Jean
very
Fletcher
bright.
shows Rowan the brand new home she built for her missing son, David.
And as you can see, the view is absolutely magnificent.
David's parents lent him the money to put a deposit on the land. And over the last 3 years, while David's been missing, Jean's created the perfect home for her son and his young family.
It's all furnished, ready and waiting for him to come back.
Right.
So everything in here is his, but he's never seen it. He's just waiting for him to come home to. If he'd only come home. If he ever comes home, I don't know. David, your house is all finished. It's all ready and waiting for you. It's all furnished. You don't have to buy a thing. It's all there waiting for you. You've got everything to come back for. We are really suffering here. So do it. Do it now.
At police headquarters in Brisbane, forensic artist John Garner has just received the pictures he'll use to create a current photo of Bill Roach.
Now, first viewing of these, I'm looking for family traits. It's fairly obvious looking at these, there are certain characteristics within this family that will pass down through the various siblings.
John now has photos of Bill Roach's biological brothers and mother at the same age that Bill would be today.
In order to make this look like he's 39, I need to know what that family will do at 39. Once I've scanned the photos, I can then put it on the computer and basically work with the actual images.
He splits the faces like a plastic surgeon, then combines them to show how similar their structures are.
I know, looking at them, that the family will age in that manner and provide me with some very handy type skin lines, wrinkles. And there's that shape of the face again, the lines down here, the shape of the nose. The general overall layout of the face is very similar to the son's. We know that the nose is very, very close, so I'm not going to modify that at all. The mouth is very close. I'll bring in the original missing person and make sure that this face is precisely the same as the face of the missing person.
But one feature doesn't match, and it makes John's task much harder.
The thing that doesn't really gel with the rest of the family is the shape of the hair. He's now going to have probably a receding line, something like that, with this style of hairdo.
But in this job, near enough is not good enough. John has to get it right, or it's all been a waste of time. Back in South Australia, on the case of missing man David Fletcher.
Okay, this is the applicator. I'll just be wiping inside of your mouth with this, 20 seconds on each side.
Rowan's taking a DNA swab from his mum, Jean.
Great, thank you very much.
This is one of the most difficult aspects of the job. The preparation for finding remains that often signals the end of hope. But David's grieving family refuses to give up.
He's always fancied working at Port Lincoln on the fishery things out to sea. He said, that's what I'd like to do, and I thought, well, to me, that'd be an ideal place to be.
We're hoping that's what's happened. But as time goes on, you know, you think, oh, God, probably not, that's not it.
Here at Sydney's Glebe morgue, Dubbo detectives Nick Caceres and Luke Scott carry the sad evidence that may finally bring an end to one family's suffering.
Yesterday morning around 5:45, a farmer came across what appeared to be a human skull whilst he was mustering cattle.
Last week on the show, Sergeants Graham Hook and Vanessa Rolfe received news on a 5-year-old case.
I read in the original event that Stuart went missing from near the railway station at Stuart Town.
Yeah.
Stuart was on his way to Queensland when he stopped in this small country town. A day later, after being seen near the train tracks, he disappeared.
And where the skull was found is probably around 500 metres from the railway line.
The remains will be taken to the Institute of Forensic Medicine at Glebe, where they'll be subjected to further examination and using DNA and dental records, hopefully identified.
Obviously that's the skull, Lindsay, sealed up in some...
No worries, you have a problem if I unwrap that?
That's fine.
Morgue officer Lindsay FLYNN knows there's no room for error. Everything must be accurately recorded.
At the moment we're just videotaping the bones that have been admitted. That's just a record for the department so that they can go back and check at a later date what items were brought to the department. We do that with all our admissions.
The remains will stay here until forensics can confirm whether or not it's their missing person.
That'll be confirmed tomorrow with the forensic dentist and the forensic pathologist and ascertain, if we can ascertain, what the cause of death was.
Back in Adelaide, Rowans arrived to meet David's brothers, who've been running their own search for nearly 3 years. Philip and older brother Stephen believed David had gone into hiding to avoid paying drug debts.
From some of the friends that I have spoken to, he did owe quite a bit of money, and he was always trying to sell me cars and just machinery equipment that he had owned.
Well, he did sell a few vehicles to pay some of the drug debt back. His morals were in the right place, though. Even being addicted to drugs, most druggies would pinch off their parents or whatever. Dave wouldn't do that.
But Philip and Stephen are realistic and, after 3 years, fear the worst.
What do you think's happened to your brother?
What I think would have happened to Dave was he would have got his motorbike ready, and I reckon that he would have went to get the stuff he needs, as in drugs, yes. And there would have been an altercation because he owes a lot of money and a lot of people are looking for him. So they would have taken that motorbike, and being our brother, he would have put a fight up because my parents bought it for him. And I reckon it's just got out of hand and they beat him up too bad and killed him.
Back at the New South Wales Department of Forensic Medicine, Professor Chris Griffiths has received dental records for Stuart, the missing Victorian man last seen 5 years ago.
All right, well, what we'll have to do is to take some radiographs to try and match up the ante-mortem radiograph with the post-mortem film. So what we're going to be doing now is charting it, which is just recording on a written information, then photographing it using new digital X-ray system to take the radiographs, which will actually spit the image straight onto the computer screen.
The process takes time. Every single tooth must be photographed and compared to Stuart's dental records.
If you can see in the middle of the tooth, that dark space, that's where the nerve is. Can you look at the shape of it on there? See how the similarity between the outline of the nerve canal there to the nerve canal in that one there. Yep. Then you also look at how the back of this tooth has been chipped away. It's broken out as this part of this large cavity that he'd gone to see the dentist, and that's chipped away there too, so you can see the chipping there.
So, is this their missing man?
We're not sure until we've sat down for a couple of hours and actually gone through it very, very carefully. It looks, fairly high that this could be the individual.
Back in Adelaide,
have a look at this beautiful view again and probably go down to the boat. Yeah, we'll go down to the boat.
There is not a day that goes by
we're trying to pretty up the place.
where David's mum doesn't visit the house she built for her missing son.
I mean, David's had it for about 15, 20 years. And
even David's $10,000 fishing boat is being kept for when he returns.
And it's all ready to go, mechanically sound, ready for fishing.
Right.
Just waiting for David to come home, use it. David, if you're watching this and you're out there, just look at your mum. I've really suffered for the last 2 years, and I really need you to telephone me and let me know where you are. I'm sorry. So, David, you get on that phone and let me know where you are. Just let me know that you're safe.
If you're all right there, David, like I said, your mother's suffering. Give us a phone call. And because we're forever thinking about you, and we will do for the rest of his life.
Meanwhile, back at Sydney's Missing Persons Unit, in the case of the unidentified remains...
Missing Persons, Sergeant Hook, can I help you?
Case Officer Sergeant Graham Hook gets the call he's been hoping for.
Oh, not too bad. I've just received notification from Glebe Coroner's Court in relation to the remains that we took to Glebe last Monday. The professor's indicated that he can positively identify Stuart from the remains that were located.
Yep, okay.
So as a result of that, we're just in the process now of attempting to get in contact with Stuart's family and let them know that Stuart's been positively identified and that hopefully they'll be able to get some closure.
Yeah, okay.
While the coroner will determine how Stuart died, It's a tragedy no family should ever have to deal with.
It's probably not the best outcome for them, but at least now they've got closure. The wondering ceases for them, and I guess the grieving starts.
And just as one case closes, another begins. The high-risk case of missing schoolgirl Jessica Smith is breaking.
Jessica's mum is extremely worried at this point. You know, we believe she's in the mountains with her boyfriend and his 5 mates, so as any mum would be, your daughter's up in the mountains with 5 males, it's big concern.
Jessica is only 13. It's no wonder this case has caught the attention of everyone at the Missing Persons Unit.
Is that Carol?
Yes, it is.
Carol, it's Mandy Gale from the Missing Persons Unit. How are you going?
Okay.
Mandy's calling Jessica's distraught mum, Caroline.
And her boyfriend's name?
DJ. That's all I know him as.
And does she have access to money? Like, does she have her own bank account?
No.
At all? So she has no access to funds at all?
Nope.
Okay, well, are you going to be home today at all?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just try and put our heads together, I guess, and have a think of where she may have gone, and if she's not at Katoomba, then, you know, we need to sort of think of some other places she may frequent.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Poor thing. I think she's concerned she's hanging with people that are doing the wrong thing. And she probably is in trouble, you know, 13 years old up in the mountains with 5 guys. It's not a good thing, so we're out to see Mum. She's really distressed.
In Sydney, while police race off to find missing schoolgirl Jessica Smith, 16 days after he vanished, 14-year-old Mitchell McClean has turned up out of the blue.
I actually found him in the park. Went up, put my legs between his legs and got the back of his shirt and said, "Come on, let's go." And he just come, no problems.
Same my mum, she was driving past and I jumped in the car and then we went home. Didn't feel like staying out no more. Got boring.
And we're just talking and he said he wanted to come home but he didn't know how to come home, and it was just like a dilemma for him.
Yeah, when she put up the signs, it made me realise that she was worried a lot.
Senior Constable Anita Masillo now needs to cite him before she can close the case.
Hi guys. Mitchell, finally meet you. How are you? You gave your mum an awful fright, and there's been a lot of police out there looking for you to make sure that you're all right. You know, next time if you decide to go out and you stay over at a mate's place or whatever, maybe you could ring your mum and...
Yeah, that's what she said to me.
Yeah? Your mum's been worried sick, and we just want to... All we need to do is make sure that you're all right and that, you know, that you're safe, which you obviously are. It's good to see you home. So where were you hanging about?
Mates' houses.
Yeah?
In the street with my mates.
Yeah? It's not really a safe thing to do, mate.
Anita warns Mitchell that peer pressure can be a very dangerous thing.
You know, when you're with your friends and that, it feels like that, you know, because there's a group of you, that it's safer, but the street's not a particularly nice place for a 14-year-old boy to be hanging around, you know? It's nice to come home and have your mum looking after you. Yeah? All right, Mitchell. Take care. No problem. We'll see you around, hopefully, but on better terms.
Good basis.
Okay, guys. Thanks for that.
Thank you. Bye.
It's a good result. I'm glad he's home. He's only 14. I know he thinks he's probably a bit older than he is, but he needs to be off the streets, so it's a good result.
Hey, you did it for once in her life?
Mitchell's back. And his mum, Anne, hopes it's for good.
I've talked him into staying at school. Like, we've had big talks and that, and I'll just have to take one day at a time, see what happens.
Meanwhile, at police headquarters in Brisbane, forensic artist John Garner is making the final adjustments to his aged photo of missing man Bill Roach.
He's closer in general shape to this particular brother here, the one at the top. What I've done is to split, copy half of that photo and bring it onto my work page here like so.
John's created a virtual mannequin using Bill's brother's features. But he's still having trouble with the hairstyle.
You got something to show me?
So he's asked case officer Jim Ryan to come in to give him a hand.
What's missing now is basically the hair, but what's interesting about this is the way in which both of the siblings have got a receding section down here and a little bit of grey just in that neighbourhood there. My personal thought is that this hairstyle is probably more accurate.
And there he is 13 years later, Bill Roach, aged 39. Once finished, they immediately send a copy to Mark and other police around the country.
So what we've got now is what our police artists in Queensland believe Bill would look like as a 39-year-old. And I'd appeal to anyone out there that knows the whereabouts of Bill to give Crime Stoppers a call, 1800 333 000. It's vital that we get information to give some closure to both Bill's families.
Back in Sydney, Mandy Gale and Gary Bailey are on their way to meet 13-year-old runaway Jessica Smith's mum.
My concerns would be that she's only done this on one prior occasion, which was a week ago, and she came home. She hasn't done anything like this in the past. Obviously, the age of the male she's with, she's only 13, and yeah, the fact she's had no contact with her mum. 13-year-old with adult males is a bit of a worry.
Every year, over 30,000 people go missing. Have you seen 40-year-old John Hines, last seen in Coomberbark, Queensland in 1997? Or 44-year-old Elizabeth Herford, missing from Canberra in 1980? And 24-year-old Asif Hadi, who disappeared from Armidale, New South Wales in 2004. If you have any information, please call 1800 333 000.